Hey survivors, Skippy0330 here again. I've been working on my skyscraper lately and I've been promising you guys a video, so I'm gonna do it. This is my first big project I've ever worked on, by far the biggest build I've ever done in 7 Days to Die. I've learned a lot, so I want to share that in the video with you guys here. What I've completed is the lobby, the stairs to go up to the second or the first floor, and the entire floor for the first floor, plus a whole bunch of pillars. You guys can actually see that in the video that's cut in. But yeah, this is how much work I've done. It took quite a while to figure this out. I learned a lot of lessons about caves, about structural integrity. I went a little bit overboard on the pillars, but that's okay because I want this building to be completely stable, and as is proved, I'm pretty confident that it is stable. This is just the structure for it, just the skeleton basically. What I've done on the outside is I've done some of the cladding just to give the idea of what the outside of the building is going to look like if I don't fall down here. But I'm going 50s industrial style, I think, with the metal cladding, and I put the glass all the way up uninterrupted, but the design on the front end here. But anyways, without further delay, guys, let's get into the time lapse of doing this, and we'll go over what I've learned. See you there. Alright, so jumping right into it, what I've done here is I've already dug a stairwell right down to bedrock already, so there's access all the way down. You can kind of see it up in the corner there. And then I've built the core pillars. I've supported them down a little further through the dirt because this is a big platform I'm actually building on. It's designed to take a few hits from a zombie crowd if it needs to. But what I've done is 1, 2, 3, 4 2x6 pillars on the outside, and then a plus symbol of four blocks in the middle to go all the way up. So this is basically to support the entire building. It's the main core supports. I don't think this is actually incredibly... the physics are more of funsics than anything else, but I wanted to make a skyscraper as realistic as possible. That's my whole intention with this building, is to recreate the skyscraper building experience. But what I'm doing here right now is building the core pillars. I wasn't really sure how to tackle this either. It's kind of the first time I've done anything tall. I just knew I needed to make myself another stack of rebar frames so that I can get up and down from it, because if I went all the way up I wouldn't have a way back down. But with these ones here, and I do have to apologize if the video is dark, guys. I started this at night, so I had something to do while avoiding any zombies that might be out there. But with this way, what I had to do was go up and down both sides. So I kind of looked at it later and tried different other techniques, but I finally decided that this actually is the best technique. My original intention was to do the core columns all the way up and then come back and then do the floors, but now I realize after building a few floors I'm gonna have to build it like a real skyscraper. Build the core up a little bit, build another couple floors, build the core up, build a couple floors, and then I can go down to the bottom and start doing the lobby, which I'll actually have in other videos. But basically this is what I did for the first little while with all the core pillars. There's nothing really crazy to see here, so we'll move on in the video up ahead a bit here. Okay, so what we're seeing here is my last 2x3 pillar. I called it a 2x6 pillar earlier by mistake, but this is where I should have done my research, and I didn't know about the limitations of physics going straight up if you have a cave underneath. And what I've done here, if you look up in the corner, is oh my goodness, this was so frustrating. If you look up in the corners, I've dug like a large cave. Not a large cave, but like a large system underneath the city of tunnels and everything, and underneath the skyscraper I had dug it out a bit, you know, thinking it'd be cool to have like a lobby, like a station down there basically, and then I ended up really regretting it, because at this point in time I was just like, this is ridiculous. I tried a few different ways of fixing it. Sometimes because I found if so much collapsing. I found if you're getting collapsing where you dug out an area, all you do is kind of rebar support it, build the item, and then it fixes the glitch. So I attempted to do that here. That's what you see me trying to do, building around the outside and whatnot and doing all this crazy stuff. I had no idea about the caves thing. I've heard it a few times, but I had built all the way down at bedrock, and I figured, well, that doesn't make any sense. You know, that can't be what it is. And eventually, yes, I did clue in that you have to go down to bedrock and support the whole thing. So a big heads up to anybody. If you're planning on building something tall, it actually can only support so high up if there's an empty space beneath it. And that counts even a 1 block space as well too, I found over time. But let's cut out this video and move on to something else now. So now, with all the main pillars and everything all supported properly down the bedrock, I'm quite happy with that. I just wanted to mention, guys, this will happen time to time when building large builds and, well, digging out some land. It just kind of disappears on you. But all you do to fix that is you simply place down a rebar frame, and bam, it pops back in. As you can see, it happened on the other one as well too. Over time, I found this only affects as you build up and up and up. It actually doesn't go and redo it over again. So I don't know if fixing it once fixes it, or if it's just a matter of height and rendering in. But I guess we'll find out in later episodes, guys, as we keep going. But my intention now that I have all these pillars up is to actually start building the roof of the lobby. I went, I believe, oh my goodness, I can't even remember now. I think I went 16, 17 high for the lobby. I went quite high for the lobby intentionally because I want the lobby to be ominous. I want it to be large, you know. The skyscraper itself is 42 blocks in diameter. That's just, it's insane. So what I'm moving here now is because I'm still unsure with the physics if cross beams count with support underneath. I'm really crossing my finger at this point in time that it doesn't matter for cross beams, stuff that's not supported straight up and down. But what I'm doing right now is moving my storage, which I have underneath one of these cross beams, just in case I do have a collapse. So you always want to be careful of that as well too, because if you do have a collapse and you have stuff in your storage containers, it doesn't pop out like it does in Minecraft. It just gets destroyed like it probably wouldn't in a normal container. But I do prefer that anyways. I like the realism of this game. Having to think stuff out before you do it and think about all the physics. It's really quite a challenge. So as you can see too, see, there you go, I just had a collapse. That was my bad though. I did something completely incorrectly there. I forget what it was, but I think it was going too far from one end. But that would have destroyed my whole entire storage, so I'm glad I did that. But yeah, what I'm doing now is the main floor. I'm going up and down. I'm still pulling stupids with the height limitations. I'm actually going to get a count of that and give you guys what the height limitation is when you have a cave underneath you with rebar or frames or different materials maybe, because it'd be nice to know that as well too, because I had zero of this planned out before I started it. This whole thing was a learning lesson for me. It was extremely difficult at first, but now that I've got it all together, it's actually quite simple. And as you can see too, I'm getting a little faster at building those cross beams in. So most of this time spent here for the next little while is just building these cross beams in. The server I'm on, if you guys can see every once in a while, there's a bunch of green writing. The public server I'm on, well, that's not a public server, it's privately ran and it's modded. But it restarts every 2 hours to keep the game running well, and that I actually really do appreciate. So it's about to restart here, so I basically just finish all the 4 pillars to the outside, and then the server restarts and I take a quick break. So we'll be cutting out the video, and I'll see you guys back in a second. Alright, now that we're back, if you guys notice, as I'm building these pillars up, I'm also turning the main supports into steel, and I'm also attaching the steel to steel blocks, as if you don't know the physics very well. The load, how much it can hold on the side of the block, depends on the strength of the block it's attached to. Not necessarily what's underneath it, that attached block, but the attached block itself. So this was what I was mentioning earlier when I was more intent on building the core columns before building up the skyscraper, because I wanted to make it really tall and, you know, get the column work done at least that way. I wouldn't have to do a lot of this because this is incredibly repetitive. But this is how I decided, well, at these heights I'm going to do this because running up and down the sides of them when I run out of supplies or out of time, or I have to turn my overlay off so you guys don't see it in the pop-ups in the corner. I always forget to do that. I should just automatically have it turned off. But anyways, so this is how I figured I would do this, right? And it ended up taking a while. I would keep forgetting to put the ramp, I don't know what to call that, I guess the ladder frame? We'll call it the ladder frame for now. I kept forgetting to bring that up the side, so it took me a while to do that. But after finishing the first floor in the skyscraper, I decided I'm going to go about 2 floors higher with the core frame, and then go up and down the sides of them. It's much quicker that way. So that'll save you a lot of time. But yeah, so I decided, okay, well, that's high enough for now. I mean, I'm going to kind of rethink about it. I take a quick look up at it, and I'm kind of like, you know what? I don't know if that's going to work out. That's going to take forever going up and down when I get bored. So what I've done here is off screen, I've taken a little time and laid out a little bit of the frame because I knew I wanted the blue metal. So what I've done is kind of laid out the basic framework around the outside. So I'm deciding now, you know what? I'm not going to build the core columns up. I'm going to build the skeleton for the outside. Now this is where I'm going to be cutting a lot of video out because this is where I made the mistake with the little tiny columns you see. Those all needed to be reinforced down below as well too, and what I kept doing was trying to run up and down and figuring out at bedrock where exactly these were, and that's where I wasted a lot of time. Later on I discovered, oh dear, I can just copy the patterns I have at the base and just count out how many blocks that pole needs to be, and then it was rather quick after that. I finished half of it in an hour instead of the 5 hours I spent trying to figure out the core columns. So yeah, I'm not going to jam 5 hours of video in here. But basically what you see me do now is try to connect the center column, the center big column, to the outside column. But then I build all the inside columns and kind of run up and down until I figure it out. So in order to escape that video, what we're gonna do, guys, is cut straight out to the staircase where I incorporate the staircase in. You're gonna see all the columns and pillars put in. Basically, the top was just simply going across and building in the cross members and then upgrading them with steel. So the whole entire first floor is steel, so we'll keep that in mind. But we'll cut into the staircase now, and I'll show you guys how I decided to incorporate that in as well. So for the staircase, what I decided to do was go with the red metal theme, kind of to go with the outside metal cladding. The outside's also going to be metal and red. But involved with that, guys, is a lot of this, a lot of farming. It is so much work. There's a lot of behind the scenes that you don't see in this video, like having to make the concrete, get the materials. It does take quite a while to do a build like this. So these videos are going to be, there's going to be a few of them. But don't expect this to be something every week. The amount of editing and everything to go into them is absolutely insane. But anyways, to continue on, as we start on the stairs here, what I've done is my classic glass stair design. What I do is I use 2 concrete, jeez, can't remember the name of them now. Oh yeah, ramps. There we go. It's been a long day. But 2 concrete ramps, and what I do is invert them like that so that they're strong enough to hold the glass. And glass, I find you can only get to go about 2 blocks before it collapses. It won't hold 4. by itself. As you can see right there, it just collapsed. I forgot to build the ramps in. There we go, finish that off. But what seemed to have happened here is one of those physics glitches. I think because I already caused a collapse, it was actually glitched out. That spot I actually didn't fix until the wet concrete dried, so I think it was a glitch with the wet concrete. As you can see, it collapses again on me for no reason. That's also too why I was very cautious building these stairs, and why I don't want to do the lobby area until I have a couple floors done, just in case. I would hate to see like all the nice fine finished work get destroyed. But that's going to be for a later episode, because obviously I can't do the whole skyscraper episodes just on building floors, because once you've seen a few, you've seen them all, right? But yeah, so basically this is what I do to get the stairs up, and completely ignoring the other one. I just kind of build it up as I go. I have to actually stop to get some more, I don't know how to say the flower name, right? Or I'm gonna call it red stuff. The red flower, there we go. Props to you if you can actually pronounce that name, but on this server they actually have it modded so that you have the seed. I don't think in vanilla you actually get the seed, so building with red is quite a big deal in vanilla. They do make it a little bit easier modded through this server to be able to make a seed, which I think you should be able to, right? If you can make a plant, if you can have seeds for some plants and not others, that makes no sense. But I think they plan on adding all that stuff in eventually as content anyways. So basically this is how the whole stairs run. They go all the way up to the top floors. To do the stairs I've skipped ahead a bit. You can see some of the supports, but that's about the part we're going to be connecting to now, because like I said, the whole putting the small pillars up was a whole fail thing. So we're going to get right to doing the first floor and the techniques I used to do that, and why I chose to do it that way. So I'll see you guys there. Okay, and as you can see, what I've done is I've chosen to use trussing as the first level of the floor. It's really light, it's really strong, it's a little more expensive on iron, but that's not a big deal because you need the support. As you can see, I can fill in a decent sized area and walk across it no problem at all. So my whole intent here is to fill up the entire first floor with the trussing. As you can see, I've gone through as well too and made the entire first floor from the outside to all the inside support pillars. Not straight up and down, but at least the chunk they're attached to. I don't know what happened there, but as you can see, there's a few glitches there as well too, but the trussing seems to have fixed it. You can reset those glitches. So you do expect, if you guys have seen too, a big heads up, use hay. What I did was I filled up the whole lobby because of the height of the drop, and I filled up the bottom of where I was working with hay, so that way if I did fall, it would save my ass. And it actually did it quite a few times, so I didn't end up having to die over and over again. Most of my deaths on this server are actually from falling or collapsing something on myself. I've done that once. That was incredibly frustrating. But pretty much, this is what the rest of the floors are going to be like. It's going to be building it up a few layers, filling it in with a layer of this, with the steel frame, and then the trussing, and then I'll come back and put the floors up on top of it and make sure the poles go up and down, because now that I have this first floor done, I know my structure is stable. I don't have to run up and down. Building the extra floors on this is going to be insanely fast. So I'm looking forward to that. But what I've also come down here now to do, now that I'm finished with the trussing, is put the actual floor in. So what I've decided to do is use this modded block. This is a concrete block with a tile pattern on top. It's actually in the game. Everything on this server, you don't need to install any mods yourself. It's all in-game stuff that they've just added as recipes. So everything you see here, the metal, everything has its own recipes. It takes quite a bit to make, quite a bit of crafting. But the whole point of doing this, why I have the trussing and then a layer of flooring, is because from what I've read, at this point now I've done some more research on building tall, and from what I've read is by making your skyscraper floors too thick, you kind of reset the physics, so that if there is any broken physics, it'll actually kind of reset them for you and make it easier to build. From what I hear, it makes your building incredibly stable. So from what I'm gonna do here is every floor I'm gonna go too thick like this, and it looks kind of cool too, because then you have like a legitimate looking pattern underneath with the trussing. I may throw some venting along in as well here too. I got the lobby to do as well here soon too, guys. But that pretty much wraps up this episode. I just got to finish up this floor and we are done. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for your likes, thanks for your subscribes. This video did take a lot of work, so you know, if you've watched this whole thing, congratulations, that's insane. Please share it, that helps me out the most, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
We about to turn it on.